I would go back and tell my younger self, penis size is not as important as you think it is.
Yeah.
Right. I need to caveat that by, I know I haven't got a fucking micro penis, right? Oh, sir, I forgot my football shorts. Don't worry, mate. I'll get you a pair from Lost Property.
Yes.
So you'd get some from about 1973. They were so big they were like culottes.
Flashes used to be a thing when I was younger, but you don't hear about flashes these days, do you?
Yeah, they're called sex offenders these days, Baz.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you do.
There was no physical punishment of kids in any of the time I was at school. Yeah. So it died out roughly kind of your time. Do you know
that's
what I
why
mean?
you lot are so soft.
Yeah, exactly. Man up, you twat. Yeah, I tell you what, Baz, if I'd have been beaten with a cricket bat at school, I wouldn't be such a pussy these days. We're getting towards the end of this, and we've just fucking moaned about how miserable our lives were when we were young.
I'm expecting when you post this and edit it, it's going to have a violin playing in the background.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Mildly Controversial Podcast. Now, this episode, Baz and I are going to have a hypothetical chat with our younger selves. So, bearing in mind that, Baz, you're 57.
I'm soon to be 57.
Soon to be 50. I do apologise. I couldn't remember.
No, but I need to check. Yeah, I'm soon to be 57.
Yeah,
I called myself 57 already.
Well, see, I couldn't remember if you were 56 going 57 or 57 going 58. So you're 56. You will be 57 in April, yeah?
Yeah.
Got it.
And because I'm going to be 57 in April, I couldn't remember I'm going to be 57 in April.
Well, like, yeah, that's it's the evidence is there already, Baz. It's
what were you saying?
So yeah, we'll look after you, Baz. We'll look after you.
Thanks.
Very good. So yes. So the point of that is that you've got 50 years of experience of things you could go back and tell your former self. I'm not saying these things should be things you're going to tell a 6-year-old, but the point is you've got a load of experience, and it'd be really nice to go back with kind of hindsight and go, yeah, do it this way, kid.
Yeah.
To ourselves. And hopefully, you never know. There may be some young uns listening to this, Baz, who actually take on this advice as genuine advice. I must start with a disclaimer. Please God, if you are young and you take anything we say tonight as life advice, we are in no way responsible for how your entire life turns out. It's not our fault, okay?
Yes. Good point there, Mike.
Thanks. I just wanted to cover us legally there, Baz. I don't want in 15 years' time some kid who's just been sent to prison suing me because he said, that fucking weird fella off that podcast, he said, if I live my life in this manner, it will be a good thing. And look at me now, I'm in prison. So I don't want any of that, and none of that.
But however, if you're a multi-billionaire in 15 years' time and I'm just on the deathbed and you want to pay for my funeral because we made you successful, bring it on.
That. The good, yes. The bad, no. Okay, we've got that sorted. Brilliant.
Cool.
Right, Baz, I'm going to hand it over to you. I want to hear your first one. What's the first thing that you would say to your younger self?
Right, it's very simple, this one. Invest in Bitcoin.
What's Bitcoin?
Well, yeah, but obviously, like, it's that thing, isn't it? I know a lot of this would be like bet on the 315 at Ascot and put all your money on it because I know the result. But that'd be the one to do. But no, Bitcoin would be that thing, or just telling yourself when you see an opportunity early doors to invest in something. Particularly if it's like, tech, that would be the advice.
Yeah.
So Apple and Google and stuff like that back then. As soon as those things come on, or, get yourself on there, that would be it.
I like that. They're very Back to the Future, going back with an almanac in your pocket ones, aren't they? Perfect.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as you and I both have discussed many times, one of the things we don't like doing is having to work to earn money.
That's why I don't do it very often, Baz.
Yeah, there you go. So it's that thing. If I could be comfortable in like my future life or in a different reality, then I'd be much happier. And that'd be my first bit of advice. Invest in something amazing,
Yeah, like you say, though, Bitcoin is, when so like if you hear of this thing called Bitcoin and it seems too good to be true,
Yeah.
right at the start, it's not too good to be true.
Yes.
It kind of gets a bit like that later. So do it there. Do it
exactly.
at that bit where it costs buttons for one of them and you end up a multimillionaire.
And in fairness, I know of two people that have retired because they invested in Bitcoin years ago.
Like right at the start.
Yeah, and so they've got the original ones that are worth like loads of money, and they obviously got loads more of it as well. And that was before they had all these massive Bitcoin mining things that went on. So they were just literally on small apps and stuff like that. It's a bit like if you get the word these days and you're like, nah, that's bollocks. Do you know what I mean? If you had £100, just put it on there. If you put, I guess, £100 you'd done when they first came out, you'd be pretty okay by now.
Oh, you'd be a billionaire or something by now,
like
wouldn't
that,
you?
yeah.
But yeah, it's a, and I'd like to add a little bit of advice for young Baz. When you do invest in Bitcoin, for the love of God, don't lose your fucking laptop.
Oh, yes, we know this story. That was a news story. Imagine that poor fucker.
I know,
Still looking for it today.
But that's the case, isn't it? Because, I mean, I had a handful. I was on an app. I don't know anything about crypto, so I don't do it because I'd be pissing my money up the wall, and I'd rather spend it on beer.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to have a good time, and I know I'm spending it, and I know I'm not getting it back. So, but I put £30, I think, into some crypto or something on an app, and then in the end I was like, that's bollocks. And I went to take it, and apparently the app said, oh, we're not doing that one anymore. You'll have to put it into a different app with a different company that does that, a Walton chain or something it was called. And
right.
I was like, all right. So I sent it from one company to another company. The company that I sent it from said, yeah, it's gone. The company who was supposed to catch it at the other end said, we ain't got it.
Oh, mate.
And it's gone forever because there's no trend. Do you know what I mean? And that was £30. That must have happened to somebody somewhere with 30 grand.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and I said, well, where is it then? And they went, I don't know, it'll be on the blockchain somewhere. I was like, oh, can I get a taxi to the blockchain to go and look for it, please?
Yeah. Can I knock on the door and say, you got me £30 worth of stuff?
Where's my £30? Do you know what I mean? That's 15 bottles of Tisky out of Aldi, that is.
Oh, so maybe the other bit of advice is learn how to do it as well as invest. So
Yeah, definitely. Or invent it. Invent it in the first. Go back further and invent it in the first place. Find out what it is.
Yes.
And then invent. And no, that doesn't work, does it? Anyway, right.
Yeah. What have you got?
I think we get the point on that one. I'm going to start, Baz, with one that's relatively serious. Is friends are transient. Don't chase friendships. They come and go and shouldn't be mourned.
Okay, yeah.
I think in my life, I've been so close to loads of people that I'm no longer that close to. I'm not falling out with them.
Yeah.
It's just friendships go in cycles, and you try and artificially cling on to them and just go, oh God, well, I must contact that person and I must do this, I must do that, and just chill. It's friendships come and go, and just because I'm not now as close to people I was really close to 20 years ago doesn't mean I like them any less. Just means we're moving in different circles, or we're doing different things, or it's I'm closer to other people now. It doesn't. It just a kind of an offshoot of that is it's almost the flip side of it is get rid of toxic friends and partners right now.
Yeah.
And long service shouldn't be rewarded in a friendship. So if somebody's a twat and is toxic and is not good for you and is not making your life better and is not enriching your life, don't be around them.
Yeah.
The number of times I've heard friends say, oh, he's a bit of a dick and he drags me down and gets me into trouble and all this kind of stuff. But we've been mates since 4 years old or whatever. I was like, well, he's probably been fucking holding you back since you were 4 then. Do you know what I mean? If he's not good for you, get to fuck. The same with relationships. So if you're in a relationship and say, "Oh well, we've been in this relationship for this long, and it's I don't want to start again," and all that kind of stuff. Life is relatively short.
Yeah.
And it's certainly fucking too short to be stuck in a relationship or a friendship that isn't serving you in the best way it could do.
Yeah. I had a friend give me advice, 27 years ago, which coincides with my relationship with my current partner, Liz. So he said, like, the idea of being in a relationship with somebody else is that you should be making both your lives better. So if at some point it's not and it's making it worse, it becomes a completely pointless exercise. Sharing your life with somebody else, and like I've kind of clung on to that because it's like it's a very similar thing you said. Is if someone at any point, like you say, starts to make your life worse, then you don't want them in it, really, do you?
Yeah.
There's a small caveat there. Sometimes people are like that, but if you see them in small dosages and they're good in those for those small bits, they're worth having around, but you don't see them every day or every month or every year. I have some friends, if I don't see them every day, it's a good thing. But when I do see them, it's kind of like catching up. Catching up's fine.
Hi.
Yes. Yeah. Probably a little bit more than that, but yeah.
Probably wouldn't be good for us to see each other every day, Baz. We'd get into all kinds of trouble.
I know, but it's that thing of like, it's sometimes nice to have a conversation saying, like, what have you been doing for the last year? And then you have a catch up and they say, right, I'll see you in a couple of years and we'll just have the nice little catch up again.
Do you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I've got loads of mates. Obviously I moved away from where I grew up. So I've been living in a different country for 4 years. So it's just really good because when I nip back now, it's like, let's go for a pint. How are you getting on? And and it's really good. But yeah, like I say, if you've got a mate who you dread ringing you to go out with, or you're going to go out on a night out and you think, oh fucking, I hope he's not going to be like he is sometimes, and all this kind of, just don't be around people like that. Don't worry about like I say, long service shouldn't be rewarded. Okay, being a good friend, treating you right, and making your life better should be rewarded.
Yeah, for sure.
Being around for ages and being a dick, like I say, they've probably been holding you back and dragging you back all the time for that amount of time. So just because you've been mates with someone since you were 4 doesn't mean that they've got a right to be blessed with your friendship.
Yeah, good point.
Right, the other ones, I'm guaranteed not all of them are going to be as serious as that, Baz.
Yeah, good. So something else I'd tell my younger self, and it's a very short one, remember to stretch.
I see.
Because this is a weird one. It's because I told you I went for a treatment the other day with like one of those back cracking like chiropractors, and honestly, it's done me the world of good. It's basically he's pushed out some stuff which I've been like getting out of shape for the last couple of years, and there's some very simple advice that like people in that industry always tell you, stretch. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Honestly, I'll start tomorrow and I'll be good. And it's that thing, I think if you get into good habits when you're younger, they don't seem like a chore later on in life. And there'd be so much like difference in me physically if I'd been one of those sort of stretchy people, because I'm the least elastic person that I know. It's like my toes couldn't be any further away, and I'm only 5'7". You know what I mean? So it's that thing, isn't it? And I know these are sort of sage advice things where you go, oh yeah, like stretch. But I started giving advice to guys approaching 30. I've taken on that mantle of that very small guru who goes, what age are you? Oh, I'm 28. Here's a bit of advice.
Sit down, son. I've got words for you.
Yeah. I know it's a very simple thing. It's just so here's what may happen. Not long after your 30th birthday, you'll get up one morning and put a sock on, and that's all you do for the rest of the day. and the thing is, you can counter that by stretching. And I don't take my own advice on this, but it's the advice I give to other people because I didn't do it. But so yeah, I'd tell my younger self, stretch.
Yeah, I do need to chirp in for legal reasons as a fitness professional and say it's not too late, Baz.
No, I get that, but but the point is, I don't know that I'd be able to get back 25 or 30 odd years of stretching in the time I have left on this planet. So I know that things will improve if I do, but yes.
See, I'm quite lucky with that is because I run 7 fitness classes every week and I stretch before and after it because I'm kind of demonstrating people how to stretch before and afterwards. So I'm pretty flexible, particularly in the hamstrings. Hamstrings are really important.
I don't even know what they are. They're made of wood, mine are.
Tight hamstrings, ladies and gentlemen, this is fascinating. Tight hamstrings can cause back problems.
Yes.
So that's where you.
This is what the guy said to me the other day. He said lots of my issues are my spinal rotation and the tightness in my hamstrings.
There you go. Stretch and play golf.
Yes.
Winner!
Also, but teach yourself to look behind you. That's a very simple thing without turning your entire body.
Do you know what? You are, I think you're just so used to your traps being so massive you can't turn your own head. That's your problem.
There was a point in my life I was much heavier than I am now that the only way I could see behind me was to just turn my head like the abominable, the abominable snowman or whatever that cartoon.
Exactly. You've just forgotten how to turn your head, Baz.
That's what mirrors are for.
You're like the opposite of an owl.
Yeah, exactly.
Apart from the wise old bit, you've got that.
Oh, thanks, mate. That would be it. I think it's a very simple thing. And as we were saying before we started this, it's literally advice you would give your own personal self. I'd give it to lots of other people, but me personally, I go, stretch, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to go and tell my former self, look at yourself in a full-length mirror more often.
Oh, you don't need to tell me that.
Yes.
Hello,
and
Pain.
Quite often naked.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when you're young, right, kids these days, right, and I'm aware that a middle-aged man saying kids these days, loads of fucking kids have just, like, if there was any kids listening, have just turned off now because here he goes.
Well, you did mention that standing naked in front of a full-length mirror just before you said that, which is also not going to get that well.
They've already been sick in their own mouths. Now they've had to, and now they know I'm going to preach to them. They've all gone. But no, kids these days don't have to go through this, okay? But in my teenage years, it was common practice twice a week to have to get naked and shower in front of other boys, right?
Trauma. Yeah.
Because, so my son is 14 now, and they don't do that. They don't do the showers thing. Okay, they have PE at the end of the day and what have you. So they don't do that, right? But and my daughter, she goes to school in her gym stuff on the day where she's got PE and then comes home in her gym stuff. So it doesn't happen anymore. But that thing of in your formative years being forced to compare yourself physically with your peers, many of whom will immediately pick on any flaw you have.
Yeah.
Is a fucking psychological ticking time bomb.
I 100% agree, yeah.
And I would love to go back and say, because the reason I say look in a full-length mirror is if you put your chin to your chest and you look downwards, it is the worst angle to look at yourself.
Yeah.
Even now at 49 years old. Because you look downwards, your belly looks big, your cock looks tiny.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look in the full-length mirror. I'm not saying, you're going to look like you're hung like a Grand National winner and you've got a six-pack. But you know what? It isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Look over there, because that's a better angle. Look at it that way.
I was going to say, because as you just said, this is how other people will see you. From that angle, weren't they? Like, it's that thing of, because I remember the trauma of this, because we had the communal sort of shower area that just had the kind of lip at the front to keep the water in, and then 6 shower heads with the push button on it.
Yep, there were no individual showers going on.
Yeah. And the thing is, I remember very vividly that most boys would just like get naked, put a towel across their nether regions, wet their hair and get straight out, and then just get dressed, like facing the lockers or facing the wall, because that self-consciousness at in those teen years. And like you said, if you became confident in looking, I look exactly the same as everybody else, you'd be the one that was having the conversation with the towel behind your head, with your little dick flapping about. And everyone else would go, look, he don't give a shit. And you shouldn't give a shit, should you?
And that's it. Another one of those things, it's kind of like, it's another one I've put down there. It's like, if I was to go back and tell my youngest, I would go back and tell my younger self, penis size is not as important as you think it is.
Yeah.
Right. I need to caveat that by, I know I haven't got a fucking micro penis, right? If I was to gauge it, I would say it's marginally above average. Okay.
Yeah.
We're with friends here, so we'll be open with that. And do you know what I mean? But when you're a kid, it's just like all you need is out the corner of your eye, at like 13 or 12.
Yeah.
When you're just sprouting a couple of pubes and you're pure self-conscious about the size of your cock. Being forced to go into a shower and you're just out the corner of your eye, you catch sight of the lad. I'm not going to say his name, but the lad who's 6 foot at 12 years old.
Yeah.
And has got one the size of a baby's arm and a full rack of top row of pubes. Do you know what I mean?
He's got a moustache and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's nothing where it's so... Looking back, it is so bad.
Can I ask you a question? Are you sure that wasn't the gym teacher?
There probably was a lot of that. Maybe not at my school. I don't remember it happening at my school, but certainly in the 80s there was a huge amount of that.
Sir, you having a shower with us?
Get in the shower, son. It's like, sir, why are you taking your pants off? So thankfully... kids don't have that, or young people don't have that anymore, because it genuinely, it took me until a couple of years into my current relationship to be comfortable to not skulk around and hide my naked body.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, my story is slightly different in the fact that I decided to get jacked and tattooed.
Yes.
So I changed my physical appearance to be more comfortable. How I felt was the one. So yeah, from about the point where I started training and like bulking up and getting into the superhero shape, which I'd sort of like looked coveted from the age of 13.
Yeah.
By the time I'd reached that, I'd like cock size wasn't even a fucking issue. I was like, look at my fucking shoulders.
That's because one of the tattoos you were talking about was the massive cock you had tattooed down the inside of your thigh. Photorealistic penis.
Oh, mate. But look, yeah, just dropping out on the last thing I've got to say on it is, I completely agree with you. So is this all schools operate that now? Has that become a sort of like school policy?
I'm almost certain it just wouldn't be a thing. Certainly, I mean, if they do make you shower, I would surely, in this day and age, they would have to. Well, purely to stop teachers seeing it. From a safeguarding point of view. But if there are schools that force you to have a shower after you've done PE games, physical exercise, PT, whatever you want to call it, surely they must have individual cubicles these days.
But there's gonna be like a certain section of the public on the male side will be going, "Yeah, just fucking man up. It was all right for me. Look how I turned out."
My response to that is no.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I know.
There are always those people. Look what's happened to society. Everyone's a wet wipe these days. Yeah, but there's probably a few kids that fucking top themselves at some point in history, because they ended up so insecure. So
I 100%, and clearly I'm a confident man, but I was never body confident.
Yeah.
Literally until. It was probably 2 or 3 years into my current relationship.
Yeah.
I've been with my wife now for 23 years. I would say the first 2 or 3 years of that relationship, I wouldn't be comfortable kind of being, having her see me naked.
Yeah.
genuinely feel that there will be a cohort of people, our generation, cohort of particularly lads. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't speak from girls' point of view. I'm
No, we're
sure
not doing that,
something
yeah.
similar happened.
Yes.
But from a lad's point of view, from a male point of view, round about our generation. I'm being generous and including you in that, Baz.
Yes.
That we're the same generation.
Grabbing on the very edge
Yeah.
of it there by my pubes.
And 100%, there was maybe not lasting now. Do you know what I mean? Maybe like me, they've come out the other side of it, but 100% that experience of being forced, literally forced. You can't just get changed. You, son, get in the shower.
Yeah.
So literally forced to put a towel around your waist or cup your cock and balls in your hands and run into the showers and run back out again.
Yeah.
It was a pointless exercise and only made boys self-conscious, insecure about their bodies, and probably mildly psychologically scarred for a good few years.
And I think it's worth saying as well that like most teenage boys don't even like fucking having baths or showers on their own. So just let them stink. It's fine.
And do you know what? Even when forced to do it, none of us took soap or shower gel or anything into the shower.
No.
It was literally press that button, run through the shower like you're going through fucking sheep dip and getting out the other side. That was it. So it was pointless anyway because it didn't achieve the objective of being clean afterwards.
Well, this goes along with some of the other cruelty we just add on to the sports at school. It was
Yes.
like if you ever forgot your gym kit, they'd make you do your gym in your pants.
Yes.
I mean that's fucking wankish, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's being complete. I'll say it, cuntish.
Yeah,
It
and I
really
mean, look,
is.
and at primary school, it was, if you forgot your PE stuff, it would be, do it in your pants. Well, to be honest, can't speak for you, but I remember in my first 2 years of primary school, so I would have been from 4 to 8, roughly,
Yeah.
vest and pants was just what you did physical exercise in,
Okay. Yeah.
which screams Operation U-Tree, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? But
God, we've all fallen foul to that. It turns out.
everyone thought it was normal, even parents.
Yes, exactly.
But at high school as bad would be, sir, I forgot my football shorts. Don't worry, mate, I'll get you a pair from Lost Property.
Yes.
So you'd get some from about 1973. They were so big they were like culottes. Do you know what I mean? You had to put 4 reef knots in the waistband
Mate.
to stop them falling down, and they were just the ritual humiliation of children. Thankfully and hopefully doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, one last thing as well we should definitely talk about because I think this is a shared experience. Why are male gym teachers such assholes? I remember one particular gym teacher who was great, but everybody else was just an absolute fucking cock. Like I always remember them showing how manly they were by if you were fucking around, they'd hit you in the fucking back with they'd smack you with a cricket bat or some other implement or throw a boot at you or something because that was the normal thing. Fuck those guys.
That wasn't a shared experience of mine, Baz. There was never physical abuse of kids at art school. But to be fair, I know I take the piss out of the fact that you're dead old and I'm not dead old.
Yeah,
I mean, we both are. But I mean, there's what did we establish? You're 56 going on. Yeah, there you go. So there's 7 years between us.
Yeah,
but I genuinely think in that 7 years things did change.
Well, yeah, Kane disappeared in that time as well. So
that's what I'm saying. Is there was no physical punishment of kids in any of the time I was at school. So it died out roughly kind of your time. Do you know what
that's
I mean?
why you lot are so soft.
Yeah, exactly. Man up, you twat. Yeah, I tell you what, Baz. If I'd have been beaten with a cricket bat at school, I wouldn't be such a pussy these days. Or something like that. Yes.
Oh God, yeah. In fairness, that's a bit of advice I would probably tell myself as well. That's a good one. That is.
Yeah.
School stuff's good, isn't it?
Do you know what, Baz? I've got a bit of advice for your younger self.
Yeah.
report that child abusing nonce that hit you with a cricket bat when you were at school. Do that. Go and report him. That's not okay, even in the 80s.
Yeah, you got the cane for reporting him. That was the only problem with that. Right. Okay, look, something else that I would tell my younger self, and like I'm referring mostly to myself when I was at school, not as a sort of. There's a few bits of advice for my sort of like older teenage self, or you know, people getting into my 20s, but a lot of the school stuff, and this is like where your formative years are, aren't they?
Absolutely.
And a lot of that thing is finding your place when you're at school, or not everybody's the same at school, and yet we're all forced to wear the same uniform and pretend we're the same people, aren't we? So my thing would always be, don't worry about fitting in with the popular crowd. They've probably already peaked at school anyway, and they'll end up being complete fucking knobheads.
We all know some of those, Baz.
Yes,
we all know some of those lads who were like so like good looking and had all the girls and all the mates and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now they're just fat twats with no mates now.
I love it.
I mean, it's a long game to get that payback, but it's good.
Yes.
And I'm reveling in it. I'm not going to mention any names, obviously.
Yeah, 40-year long game. I like that, Mike. That's what we've played.
I like it, mate. I played that with my face.
But I have met people who were the good-looking lad at school, like you say. He's put on a bit of timber.
Yeah.
His hair's all gone.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to plasterer, he didn't go on to be a banker. He ended up being a plasterer for his entire life.
Yeah.
Which was probably a downgrade from what he was expected to be, because he was
Yeah.
he's going to be a fucking racing driver, wasn't he? But like, yeah. Don't beat yourself up, because like, look where we are now. They're not making podcasts, are they?
Exactly. Well, they might be, but they'll be shit ones. Right. My next message, Baz, to my younger self is being thoughtful, generous, and courteous is cool.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you're a kid, I mean, to be fair, this is kind of more in general to young people now and then. Particularly young lads now and then. It was always kind of like seen as like lame if you were polite or kind or did nice things for people or you were thoughtful or things like that. But if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I wasn't a dick when I was younger, but I think I'd love to go back and say, if you are really thoughtful, really kind, generous, courteous, and just a really nice guy, even when people don't deserve that from you, people will end up fucking loving you.
I'd say later on in life they will. At school they'll. Can I use the term that was like, I think it still existed during your day?
Yeah.
They'd go, gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
do you know what I mean? If you were nice.
I know, and that's why I'm saying it. I'm saying those traits.
Yeah.
Even though, the hard lads will bully you for it and all that.
Yeah.
It's still worth it, because there will be, if you are a heterosexual male, there are girls that would love it.
Yeah.
Girls are sick. Even, teenage girls looking for teenage boys at high school and all that kind of stuff. There are ones that you would want to be with, the ones that are worth being with, will appreciate those qualities.
Yeah.
And they will see through the fucking bravado of, don't act like that, you prick. Look at you being all nicey, like soft ass. It's like, those qualities, even at that age, will make you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
And the lads might take the piss, but nobody would genuinely hate you for being nice, courteous, friendly, all of those positive qualities. No one will hate you for it.
Yeah.
They might be jealous, or they might take the piss out of it, but you'll get a lot of respect from people, and it'll set you up well in life.
So, the next thing I've got to say is quite a personal thing. It doesn't. It's just not very wide, but it's very personal to me. So you remember Baz Luhrmann's "Don't forget, wear sunscreen." Yes. And one of the lines that resonates with me, which I would tell for myself, is "Be kind to your hair. You'll miss it when it's gone." And I know, look, and I know there's no science to suggest if you do the things that I did to my hair when I was younger, and I fucking did loads of stuff. I mean, I abused the shit out of it. Genetically, I was probably going to be bald because of, father, whatever, But I would say that to myself, like all those cool hairstyles that I had when I was young. I mean, I used to bleach my hair till it was fucking white. And then when I grew hair, I used to crimp it with a hot iron to make it fucking frizzy. And I did so much stuff with it. And there's a few times generally as when my hair decided it was going on holiday and never coming home, that I was like, oh, mate, if I'd only just not done so much stuff to it, it might have been around for a bit longer. So that I know I know this is a vain thing, but like it's that thing. Well, yeah, but
it's good.
It's that thing of I would literally go, Baz, don't. It's already been bleached 3 times this month. Don't do it again to make it like pure white. And mate, I used to bleach my hair so often it was ridiculous.
So
yeah, that would be my advice.
Era in Baz's history was this? What sort of age were you when you were really like hammering the bleach on your hair?
So probably from about 14 through to like when I left school was having that kind of like hairstyle where like because I was in that kind of punk rockabilly thing. It was called psychobilly, but it was just this phase I was in, which was like the modern version of Teddy Boys, but like punked up.
One of my closest friends is a psychobilly and has the same anvil-shaped haircut he had. He's got the same anvil-shaped haircut that he had in 1984.
Yeah, that super flat top into
Absolutely.
a peak. Yeah, I had that. So, and I've got naturally curly hair, so I used to have to straighten it and then blow dry it and then fuck around with it so much. And this was on a daily basis. So that went on till I kind of left school, and then I kind of went into the more like the Cure type period where I had longer hair like Rob Smith, but I used to use a crimping iron to straighten it and fuck around with it and backcomb it and put all sorts of product in it. So you could imagine how much abuse your scalp takes. And like, as I said, we know what science is. Like, even if I hadn't done that, I may have gone bald anyway, but I'm sure I really think I probably helped it on the process.
I love the image of at some point your hair's just gone, fuck this, we've had enough. We're going now, fuck off. You haven't looked after us, so we're gone. That's it.
I had a really good head of hair, and like right through to about my mid-20s, and then it went from just a little bit of like thinning to just disappearing. It's like it went. Oh, we started now. It was just like a domino effect. It just followed it out the door. It's just, and it's horrible. I'm one of those people that genuinely misses my hair. So that my advice would be, if I'd have got a few more years out of it, I think I may have been sort of happier for longer. I don't think I would have kept it up to now because obviously this up top is like my forehead is now on the back of my head.
Do you know what, Baz? I think what we need to do is on buymeacoffee.com/mildlypod. We need to put another section in there that's got 15 grand for hair transplant. So we've got like buys a pint for a £5, 2 pints for 10 quid, or 15 grand for a hair transplant.
But just is there anything that you would add onto that you would? I know we're talking about physical appearance, which a lot of it is, but is there any of those sort of things that
there actually is? And I'm trying to encourage my son to do it now. Is I would go back and tell my younger self to get down the gym when you're 13, 14, because building muscle at that age shapes that becomes your body shape because I mean I only got into the gym much later in life, and I could not build a chest now if you paid me to. I find it really hard. I mean, my arms and my shoulders are okay. I could probably build them up if I wanted to. I mean, I'm fighting a losing battle against obviously at the age I'm at now, the testosterone levels are fading and all that. But
I know you could buy some.
Yeah, but it is harder to build muscle. It's still possible, obviously, but it's harder. But yeah, And I've got really big legs and big calves because this sounds stupid, but I had a paper round when I was young, so I was on the back, and I'm convinced that's why my legs are bigger. I mean, obviously, genetically predisposed. My dad's got big calves and things like that, but I'm convinced that I never had any problems building muscle on my legs because from the age of 13 to 17, I was on a bike riding up hills every morning.
Yeah.
And I just think if I could go back, because I know the lads that spent a load of time in the gym. It was only a little multi-gym in the school, but I know the lads that spent time in there when they were 13, 14. And, some of them are out of shape now, but they could, their body is predisposed now to having that size and that shape, whereas mine isn't.
I thought you were going to say that, like, I've got good calves and thighs because I come from Bury and I was just used to running away from the police all the time.
No, it's the black pudding in the diet, Baz.
That's about you have thick legs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the genuinely, that's the side effect of eating so much black pudding. So yeah, just if you're listening, people, just inject pig's blood into your muscles or something. I don't know.
Not if you're a vegan, obviously.
Probably not.
So, what other advice would you give a young Mike Snedden, Mike?
The next thing, and this is, hopefully this won't turn melancholy.
Well, like nothing else has done so far.
Yeah, like it all has, hasn't it? Well, I'm aware, Baz, that we're getting towards the end of this, and we've just fucking moaned about how miserable our lives were when we were young.
I'm expecting when you post this and edit it, it's going to have a violin playing in the background.
I'm going to make sure that there's going to be a violin version of the theme music plays out at the end, and the screen slowly fades to black. Anyway, on that topic, that girl who just broke your heart really doesn't matter.
I've got one of those similar.
There you go. No, because I was, I was very unlucky in love.
Definitely get the violin out.
I was.
Fucking hell.
No, I was when I was young, but I mean, I brought it on myself because I looked like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? I was much later than my friends to have my first intimate experience with a lady.
Yeah.
And
you're from the north, so what was that, about 11?
I'll tell you, Baz, I was 18 and a half.
Oh.
So
18 and a half. I remember the exact date and the minute.
I remember the tragedy of turning 18, never having experienced intimacy with a lady. I'd say intimacy. Yeah,
we get the impression.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Without popping my cherry, I believe it is. But no, it was in my teenage years and early 20s. I was dumped by a lot of women. Put it that way. Yeah.
Look at where are they now, though? That's the thing.
I know. Yeah.
They're all hankering after you now.
Hopefully, they're listening to this and they're thinking, "Hey, I could have been with that fucking idiot who cocks about on the internet and talks shit once a week."
I like to think of it more like Bullseye. Look what you could have won.
I think there'll be a lot of women in their late 40s who will be listening to this, thinking and knowing they dodged a bullet by dumping me when I was young.
Fuck off. Look at you now. Look at you now.
No. Anyway, no. So I just think, in all seriousness, I just think listen, my son is definitely going to listen to this, and at some point he is going to have his heart broken.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. It's impossible to think like this at the time when you're in it, but it's just what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it may feel like the worst thing in the world, but
it does. No, it does feel like the worst. It is the worst thing in the world.
Oh, it's horrendous. And clearly, I mean, I've been with the same woman for 23 years. So it was a long time ago that I was last, heartbroken by someone. But it hurt so much at the time. But if I could just go along and just put my arm around me and just go, do you know what? Don't fucking worry about it.
Yeah.
Because in 10 years, you won't even remember a fucking name.
Yeah.
So just,
Can I just say, though, you and I both do remember that person's name, though, don't we?
Was it the same woman, Baz?
No, because she'd be way too old for you.
I genuinely don't remember. There are, if I think back, I know that I will have had my heart broken by girls when I was a teenager that I genuinely don't remember the name of.
Okay, so I remember my first love, so yeah.
I remember my first love, and I remember the name of the girl who was charitable enough to let me climb on at 18 and a half years old.
Well, that's good of you.
Yeah, well, do you know, I remember her name, but yeah, I just
charitable enough. Sorry, that literally just seeped in, and I just realised how sad that sounds. But also.
Hopefully our listeners picked up on it quicker than you did, Baz.
No, it was kind of washed over me while you were talking. You carried on talking, and then I let it wash over me. It's like, oh, what a romantic you were.
I didn't plan the phrase charitable enough to let me climb on at 18 and a half years old, but you know.
If I hadn't jumped in, then I would have forgotten it because I'm 57 soon, so carry on. Please carry on.
But yeah, so clearly I remember milestone names, but there's loads that at the time I just thought, oh, this is the worst. I saw my life mapping out with this person, and like they've gone, they've potted me, and genuinely don't remember the names anymore. So, the point is that at the age where you are getting your heart broken in your teens, even like if you get logical about it, and you which you need to do to kind of separate the heartbreak and the emotion from it, statistically, it's very, very, very unlikely that the person you are going out with in your teens is going to be the person that is the one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's when you're going through that heartbreak, you cannot be told anything by anyone to make it feel better. Like you just got to plow through it and stuff. But yeah,
that's a bad term, Mike.
Yeah. No, you've just I didn't realise that's not a euphemism I've used, but I kind of get where you're going through now. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I just think I think it's advice I would give my younger self, but also advice I would give to anybody who's young. And like I say, my 14-year-old son listens to this, and I hope he knows that when he inevitably goes through heartbreak, I want him to come to me, because I know what it's like. God, do I know what it's like. I went through it repeatedly as a teenager. But also, it's just, it hurts like fuck at the time. It doesn't last, and it's a bit like there's a phrase, like, to get more kind of philosophical about it, and a broader point on it is there's a phrase, "This too shall pass," which is something that I try to live my life by. So there are times when you're skint, there are times when you're heartbroken, there are times when you're bereaved, there are times when you're in a bad place, in a dark place mentally, or with your mental health. And the phrase "this too shall pass" is a brilliant one, because all of these things are cyclical. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I've been fabulously wealthy, not a billionaire, but I've been very comfortably off financially. I've been really skint, and I've been had money and then not money, and I've been happy in love, I've been heartbroken and stuff. And you just go through cycles of it, and it's the whole "this too shall pass" is a great thing to try, a mantra to try and tell yourself at dark moments, whether it's mental health or whether it's financially or whether it's having been heartbroken, that it doesn't last forever. It does get better, and everything will be all right.
I think it's one of those things as well that it becomes more. You could take it more on board as you grow and get older because you've had a bit of experience. I think, I don't think. I know at 14, you think you're the only person that's ever done that because it's your first experience there. It doesn't matter because people can go, oh, yeah, no, like it happened to me. You're like, it fucking didn't because this hurts like shit.
Yeah.
I'm the only person that's ever experienced this because I'm 14, I'm a bit immature. If you had that note in your head, you genuinely think that this is the first time it's ever happened to any human on the planet.
Yeah,
because like you say, it's all encompassing, and your world's much smaller anyway.
Yeah,
so this is a much bigger impact.
Yeah,
you know, by the time you get to your 30s, you've probably been kicked in the balls more times than you can remember. So the next thing that comes along, you kind of go, "Oh, that's all right. It's just another one of those things."
Yeah.
At 14, for the first time ever, it's like someone's taken a shot at you with a shotgun at point blank range, and you're like, I'm never going to get over this.
Yeah.
The good thing is, you get over it, your resilience goes up, and like, but I think because it's the first time that happens to you, I remember the first time it happened to me, even now, I remember the girl's name, and the thing about it was, with me, we went from middle school to upper school, we changed school, and her family moved away from town. So there was no kind of break. It was like, oh yeah, look, we're moving. See ya. And it was like, oh my God, well, because at 14, you're like, oh no, I'm not going to get on a train and go across to see you. I can't drive. I'm not confident enough to ask somebody to drive me to go over there. So you're kind of like, oh, that's the end of it then. Yes. So that's it. But your 14-year-old heart isn't capable of like being resilient enough. Like, I think when you get older and you get dumped, you're like, fuck it, I'll move on to the next one now, don't you? Because there's a certain amount of bravado in you which goes, oh, no, that'll be all right. I'll be all right, even if inside you're like absolute turmoil.
Yeah.
You just show it differently, don't you?
Yeah. Like I say, though, like I say, my son is 14 years old and does listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
So I just want to say to him, it's easier saying it this way than saying it to it. Like, I mean, we are open, we do talk and things like that. But but I do hope that when he inevitably goes through that, he comes to me now, knowing that I know exactly how he feels. And when you're in the middle of it, you don't want to hear it's going to be all right. It's going to get better. You just need someone to sit and, hold you while you cry and do all that kind of stuff and just get through that part of it. But failing that, I'll just say, fuck her, she was a dick anyway.
If you send him to his Uncle Baz, I'll go, look, just think in 10 years' time, she'll be like 50 pounds heavier. She'll have 8 kids and she'll look like she's been like 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Yeah. So you've dodged a bullet there, Che. You've dodged a bullet.
Don't worry about it, man. She's a bell end.
Oh, that was quite sweet because, like, I can imagine, like, even that kind of resonates with, like, both sexes of our listeners, not just the poor sad boys that we were.
And do you know what? I do like the fact that the fat balding guys who were dead popular at school, who like didn't feel great about themselves in the previous section, are just laughing at my misfortune now. So I've cheered them up.
Look, here's something I would tell my younger self. I would say to my younger self, stop worrying about being the best at everything. Sometimes being the okayest is good enough. Because there's fucking so many things that, like, when you're younger that you want to be the best at, and there's pressure on you. Like, if you're sporty, I wasn't particularly sporty. I can't even fucking kick a move in football. But, like, there's things that, like, you grow up and you're like, oh, no. Like, particularly stuff that you enjoy that you're not good at. Like, you beat yourself up at because you're like, oh, I want to be really good at this. And I reached the point in my life where I was like, if I'm not good at it, fuck it, I'm not even going to bother doing it. I'll only do the things that I'm good at. But I would tell my younger self, go and enjoy this. You can enjoy stuff by not being the best at it. And this is everything. It's not necessarily sport. It could be anything in your life. Because there were so many things that I used to have so much angst about. I was like, oh, I'm not good at that. And like, and a lot of what we spoke about tonight is you compare yourself to everybody else in your peer group, don't you?
Definitely, yeah.
So if you've got somebody who's fucking cracking at this and like football or something else, you kind of, I wish I was that guy. I just think it's okay to not be good at stuff. Because, like, in the grand scheme of things, when you reach a certain age, like, where, like, you're getting to and I'm getting to, looking back on it, it doesn't matter that I couldn't play football because I don't do it for a career anyway. Do you know what I mean? And, like, you've done the reverse. You've started playing a sport much later in life because you enjoy it and you're okay at it, aren't you?
And it's funny you say that, Baz, actually, because I've got a golf, I've got a ball marker.
Yeah.
That says the world's okayest golfer.
There you go. It's brilliant, isn't it? But I think there's a point in your life where your brain adjusts itself and goes, you know what? Like, who cares if you're the best at something? Particularly because, like, most of the stuff you do, like, if you're the best at something you do at work and you get paid well for it, brilliant. Yeah, but there are loads of people that don't have that kind of that luck or the leisure of being able to do something that they're really good at and they enjoy, and that's what work is. But like, yeah, I remember being younger and like, I wanted to be able to so much to be like good at football, and I was awful at it, and like it's carried all the way through. So I played rugby and I was shit at that, but I was marginally better at rugby than I was at football.
I'd say you'd be better at rugby now.
Oh no,
because there's more of you.
Yeah, no. I tried running the other day. I realised I can't run anymore. It's like, what? Running's become a thing I can't do now.
I've got this beautiful mental image of you, Baz, just wandering down the street in Milton Keynes and going, I'm going to try and run. like a kid in the slippers. Just going, I'm going to try and run. And then do it for me and go, no, I can't. I'm assuming it was in the gym on the treadmill that you're talking about.
No, I went to catch up. I can't remember what did it, but I went to catch up with something the other day, and I started running. I was like, oh God, this is the first time. I don't know why. It's the first time I've tried to run in, like, properly run in some years, because I don't know why. I just haven't had the need to run anywhere.
You're just never in a hurry to get anywhere, Baz.
I think the last time I ran was to catch the dog. Like, because she'd run off somewhere, and that was quite a while ago. And then I literally went running. I went to run the other day. I was like, this is really odd now, because like, if you haven't done something,
have your legs forgotten how it works?
Well, no, but it's like it feels like more like I'm stomping but standing still. And I
it sounds like they have forgotten.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like, because you obviously do a fitness class, and like, so. Do you go on a treadmill and run these days or anything like? No. You have I know you have a treadmill at home.
Yeah, no, that's I don't remember ever being on that treadmill.
Yeah. So can you remember? We're totally off piece now. Can you remember the last time that you ran anywhere? It's weird, isn't it?
No,
it's weird. How weird is it?
Do you know what? I think it was when my scorecard blew off my golf trolley.
There you go. Yeah, something like that.
And I went to chase it. But no, I mean, no, actually,
such a weird thing.
No, I played football 6 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying.
I played football 6 weeks ago, and because my fitness is much higher than the younger lads who were better at football than me, I ran my bollocks off for that whole time. And 6 weeks later, I'm still not fit enough. Like that. 6 weeks later, my knee is still injured.
But you could still run though on that night. Right.
I could, yeah. I managed it. My legs remembered how to.
I've just gone totally off piece, but yes. So my advice would be that. I don't know why it's so funny.
Your advice would be keep running.
Yes,
Forrest
don't
Gump.
Stop running.
Keep running for decades like Forrest Gump. Right, right, Baz. I want to finish with. I recently, I am very late to the party on this, but I very recently had my first experience of ChatGPT.
Sorry, I thought you were going to mention air fryers then. I thought this is going to be amazing.
So, I very recently had my first experience of ChatGPT, and when I came up with the idea of let's give our younger selves advice. I asked ChatGPT, what advice should I give my younger self?
Okay, cool.
Give me 5 points.
Yeah.
So here are the 5 points that ChatGPT came up with. And spoiler alert, they're a lot better than the ones we've just come up with.
Go on. Let's have it then.
So the first one is, don't be afraid to take risks and step out of your comfort zone. Growth and success often come from pushing your boundaries.
Right, okay, I'm just going to say this first. I'm fairly sure in the career that you must have taken some risks at some point. So, you know.
Yeah, not on a regular basis.
I'm not saying it's not good advice, but like sometimes I think these good advice things like are sort of like general stuff. Whereas like I've definitely taken risks in life.
Yeah.
But I would never. It wouldn't be something I'd ever advise me to. But yes, it's a good bit of advice.
I don't often step out of my comfort zone, though.
Okay.
I've got to be honest. Right,
Yeah.
so the next one.
Well, every time I leave the house, I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. I'm not going to lie.
Your house is Munchkin Cottage. Don't step out of Munchkin Cottage. Maybe if you ask ChatGPT, it'll say that on yours.
Go on, what else you got there? Go on.
The second one is invest in your relationships and prioritize quality time with loved ones. They are your support system and source of strength.
So if you said that to your 14-year-old self, he'd go, "What?"
No, but I mean, that might
you'd have to term it differently.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
mean, yeah, that might manifest itself in treat your parents, don't have more chats with your grandparents because they're not here forever and all that.
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Okay. Cool.
The third one is learn to manage your time effectively and prioritize your tasks. Focus on what truly matters and avoid getting caught up in distractions. I'm not being funny, but I asked ChatGPT to come up with stuff I should be telling my younger self. They've come up with one there that I should be telling my 49-year-old self.
Literally, I just thought the same thing. This sounds like very grown-up advice for a child. This sounds more like ChatGPT has gone, oh, it's one of those blokes that's like after advice. He's one of those people that I'm going to tell him what to do right now.
I've literally been schooled by a computer, Buzz. Right. Number 4. Take care of your physical and mental health. Maybe like stretching, that is euphemism for. Take care of your physical and mental health. Make self-care a priority and don't neglect your well-being.
Yeah,
These are all really sound advice.
Yeah.
That sound from a computer.
Yeah.
And the 5th one, Baz, is buy an air fryer. Seriously, though, they're fucking sensational.
Well
And
done.
on that bombshell, that's where we'll leave it for tonight. Oh, thanks for listening, everybody. Hopefully, throughout that, there will be a sprinkling of entertainment, a sprinkling of making you smile, a sprinkling of actual advice, and hopefully you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Might be the rum and coke, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed your company again, Baz, which is why we do this shit.
Well, look, so just before you do close, we both know our audience is of a similar age between your age and my age, in general. And I think because of that era that, 7 years is like not quite like the difference in decades. So, as we've already discussed, there was a lot of changes in my youth and your youth for the better. I'd like to add. I think a lot of our audience would understand the same sort of angst, because a lot of it's teenage angst we're talking about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I think being a teenager these days, if I'm being honest, sounds a lot more fucking hard than when we were teenagers, because we only had 2 things to worry about, and that was wanking and impressing girls, right? So
Not at the same time.
Yeah,
Because I don't think I don't think that impresses girls. I mean, it's been a long time since I've tried to impress a girl by doing that, but I don't think it works. And,
Can I just say?
And in the 80s, you probably wouldn't get put into prison for it, but you definitely would do these days.
You've just literally reminded me of the fact that flashes used to be a thing when I was younger, but you don't hear about flashes these days, do you?
Yeah, they're called sex offenders these days, Baz.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you do. They're just famous people now, aren't they? Anyway, finish up. We'll get out of here, and then I'll go and put myself into rehab.
So, thanks everyone for listening. Please give us a review on wherever you're listening to us. And also, listen, if you're still listening now, it means you are vaguely entertained by what we do. Or, in a weird way, you somehow are listening to our podcast backwards. But either way, if you are still listening, please get in touch. We love hearing from you. So you can do that via our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/mildlypod. Go on the messenger there. Give us some feedback. Let us know you're listening. Let us know that if you enjoy it. Even if you hate what we do, fuck it, tell us. And
No,
you can
don't.
do that.
I'm too frail for that. Don't do that.
Actually, yeah. And if you do hate us, can you email it to mildlypodcast@gmail.com, because Baz doesn't get to see those unless I can vet those first, just for Baz's mental health and mental well-being. But yeah, please share it with your friends, give us reviews and all that kind of stuff, because it does really, really help us to spread this and, get this out to more people, so that let's keep growing this so that more people can listen to it and more people can enjoy it and more people can hate it. So thank you very much for listening. Thanks again, Baz. I've had a great night and we will see you next time. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.